used to seeing stars, male stars anymore, dressed in a suit. They're always...
They're in a suit?
No, they're always wearing...
Shorts, T-shirt.
Right, I was just saying...
I'm going to change right after.
I was just saying, it's so nice to sit across from somebody who's, shirt and tie and suit and everything, because so many of the people now, do their interviews so casually. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but...
Well, Bobbie, I figure if I played a casual character in the movie, I should play a normal character out of the movie.
I wondered about those outfits, the Hawaiian shirts and everything. Do you ever dress like that?
Well, I don't know if I do. I felt very right about Freddie Shoup dressing that way. I mean, from the very beginning, I thought that Freddie Shoup should be a guy in Hawaiian shirts, and I mean the original ballet Duka Kahanamoko print Hawaiian shirts. They're very vogue now. Everybody's wearing them, but I figured that Freddie Shoup was a guy who wore them 10 years ago when no one was wearing them, and has been wearing them ever since. It was interesting because most of those shirts come from collectors, and some of those shirts are more expensive than an Armani suit. I mean, there's one shirt that I wore in the intro scene where I first meet Kirstie Alley's character that was the exact same print pattern of the shirt that Montgomery Clift was killed in From Here to Eternity. So because of that, through Hawaiian shirt collectors, that's become a very, very valuable shirt. Anyway, I've got all those at home in my closet now. So maybe I'll wear a few sometime.
That was part of your contract, wasn't it?
Actually not, no. It was Carl's idea at the end.
Well, that's a nice souvenir. Nice.
Oh, yeah, it's a great souvenir, and it was a wonderful experience working with him. He's a wonderful teacher, and I don't mean that as a pun on the movie, but he likes to direct, and I'm an actor that likes to be directed. Worked out fine.
Mark, in your experience as a student, did you ever know any Mr. Shoups?
It was part of the draw of the character initially to me, is that I did know a Mr. Shoup of sorts. I mean, there was a teacher, freshman year in high school, who pulled me out of the back of the classroom when I was feeling like part of the lost multitude, and like held me and said, "You can do it," and I believe you can do it, and gave me that 15, 20 seconds of individual attention that actually helped push me out of the crowd. There's a point in the movie where Shoup expresses concern about one of the characters who has dyslexia, and she's in the 10th grade, and how could she get this far? And the answer is, well, she slips through the system. It happens all the time. In effect, Freddie Shoup is someone who slipped through the system. And in effect, together with these characters, they help each other. And the thing I like the best about the comedy is it's relationship comedy. It's the fact that at the end, not everybody wins. They improve, and that's the important thing.
And that, to me, makes it more lifelike, don't you think? Because in life, we don't always win, do we?
Well, no, we don't. And I think, to some degree, in the movie-going audience anyway, has been conditioned to the big win at the end, where everything works out. And I'm much more traditional about that. I mean, I think that's part of the reason that I was attracted to this, is it seemed like a very real story to me, it wrapped into what it is. And I know that's part of the reason Carl liked it, the fact that it isn't all tied up in a nice little bow at the end.
In your school days, or during your school days, here you are, the son of famous parents, and did that make your schooling more difficult, or were you even aware of that?
I was conditioned to be aware of it. I mean, I think my parents raised me with that in mind, the fact that at some point I was going to run hard into the hard-nosed who was not even going to give me an honest shot because of who my parents were. I mean, people like to say that because I hit a home run in Little League, it was understandable because my father was Tom Harmon. I don't see how that helped me hit the ball, but the reality is it's part of the situation that I've grown up in. And I was raised with very traditional values. And my father came from Rensselaer, Indiana, steel mill town, where it was about the work ethic. Athletics was his way out. My mother came from Hartford, Connecticut, and her beauty and her modeling technique was her way out. I appreciate where I am a lot. And I say that based on the fact that I've done other things where I haven't looked forward to getting up in the morning. I think it's great that it's warm out there right now and people are excited, except for me. I keep a perspective on it all, and it's about the material and about the choice, and it just means to me that hopefully I have more of that choice right now, and I'll continue to choose roles that continue to challenge me and make me grow as an actor.
As a child, did your parents ever say to you, now don't do this and don't do that and behave yourself and blah, 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 because if you mess up, then it's headlines because you're the child of famous people? Did you have that sort of line?
No, no.
You're lucky then. A lot of kids get that.
Well, I never got to that point. I mean, I was a normal kid. I grew up as a normal kid, you know, and if I stepped out of line, there was hell to pay. That's the way I was raised. I mean, you know, people say, hey, that's wrong, you know. I said, well, it might have been wrong for other people. It was the way that I was raised. It's what I knew would happen if I screwed up, and it did. There was never a burden. I never felt a burden about that. I mean, I played football because I loved the sport, not because I was trying to please my dad. I'm an actor because I love what I do, not because my mother was an actress. That realistic attitude toward centering yourself toward what you want to do and what you set out to accomplish in your life is something I was raised with.
Now that you're married, how does this change your life or your whole perspective on everything?
I don't know that it does, Bobbie. I mean, I really, we're both very individual people, both very strong people, and yet our careers go in very different directions. I don't like being away from home very much, you know, but I've never liked that anyway, so I don't see as it changes a whole lot.
Are you still fixing up the house that you were fixing up?
Actually, I'm finished. I finished, but I got another house up in the mountains that I'm just about to start rebuilding, so I keep busy. Plus, I bought another woody station wagon that I'm fixing up, so yeah, I'm continually in the workshop working with wood, right.
Does Pam help out on that, or?
She's like good at like picking out the color schemes. yeah, but no, she likes to get her elbows dirty and gets in there after, which is part of what I admire about her.
It seems that this film is a departure for you, or at least it just seems to me that it's different from anything I've ever seen you do. Now, was this something then that you were out seeking, saying to your agent, I want to do this kind of thing, or did it just happen?
Well, the last thing I had done was Deliberate Stranger, and that was certainly a very heavy-duty, serious, dramatic piece, and my thought during the production of that was, Lord, when this is over, I want to do something lighter. That lighter thing ended up being a major comedy for Paramount and Carl Reiner called Summer School. That's wonderful news to me. I didn't plan that. Carl saw Deliberate Stranger and saw an interview I did about Deliberate Stranger, and from that deduced that that's the guy he wanted to play Freddie Shoup. I like showing up in a different place from where people expect me to show up. And the next picture I'm doing is called Stealing Home with Jodie Foster for Warner Brothers. The title of the script page says it's a family tragedy with jokes. So it's a very different role. In January, I'm going to do Bus Stop at the Amundsen Theater for Marshall Mason. Again, it's about choice for me. And it's about playing those kind of roles that stretch me and challenge me.
Still doing Coors?
Actually, we did 27 commercials over a 2.5-year period, and this is now toward the end of the 3rd-year period, and you know, toward the end of my contract as I know it as we sit here today. I've enjoyed my association with them. They're nice people to work with.
Will that go on, or you don't know?
I don't know.
If they want to, you will?
We'll talk. I mean, the last spot we did was the moderation spot about using moderation in your drinking procedure, and I was real proud of that spot, and so thankful that they as a company stood behind that and actually took a stand when no one else was. So if that indeed is my last memory of what this campaign has been, that's a very good way to end it.
Indeed. Well, Mark, I could sit here and talk with you another 20 minutes or so, but I think the tape is running out.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, it's good to see you. Enjoyed your performance very much, and I hope Summer School's a big hit for you.
Thanks, Bobbie. Thank you. Good seeing you again, too.